No contact between twin flames is one of the most painful yet transformative phases of the journey. When the runner pulls away, the chaser is left in a state of deep confusion, questioning everything. Was it real? Do they even care? Are they gone forever? The silence is deafening, and in that silence, fears take root, whispering that maybe the connection was one-sided or that the runner has moved on without a second thought. But the truth is far more complex than it seems on the surface. The runner may be physically absent, but that does not mean they are unaffected. If anything, their inner world becomes a battlefield of emotions, thoughts, and realizations they are often not ready to face. They may not express it outwardly, but their silence is not emptiness. It is filled with secret struggles, hidden longing, and an intense internal push and pull. Understanding what the runner truly thinks and feels during no contact can bring clarity and healing to the one who is left behind. The chaser often believes they are the only one suffering, but the reality is that the runner goes through their own unique kind of pain. It just manifests differently. Beneath the avoidance, beneath the apparent coldness, there is a deep, undeniable connection they cannot escape, even if they try. So, what really goes on in the mind of a twin flame runner during no contact? What are they thinking, feeling, and experiencing behind the silence? Let's unravel the truth. Number 1, they feel overwhelmed by the depth of the connection. When a runner distances themselves, it's not because they don't care, it's because they care too much. The intensity of the twin flame bond is something they may have never experienced before, and it shakes them to their core. Unlike past relationships, this one cannot be controlled, predicted, or dismissed. It exposes everything: their fears, wounds, and vulnerabilities. Many runners initially feel safe in their independence. They may have built a life where they don't have to confront their deepest emotions, but when they meet their twin flame, all of that shatters. The love feels too raw, too intense, and they don't know how to handle it. Instead of staying and working through these feelings, their instinct is to escape, to create space so they don't feel so overwhelmed. But here's the secret: even in their silence, they still feel the connection. No amount of running can erase it. Even when they try to push it away, it lingers in their thoughts, dreams, and heart. They might distract themselves with work, hobbies, or even other relationships, but nothing truly fills the void. The connection remains, pressing on their soul no matter how far they go. Number 2, they struggle with unresolved fears and emotional wounds. One of the biggest reasons twin flame runners pull away is because the connection triggers deeply buried wounds. These wounds can stem from childhood trauma, past heartbreak, or a fear of intimacy and vulnerability. For some, the idea of truly being seen, flaws and all, is terrifying. During no contact, these fears don't disappear. They actually become louder. The runner may replay moments in their mind, overanalyzing things that were said or done. They may feel guilty for running, but also feel powerless to return. Their emotions become tangled between wanting to reach out and fearing what will happen if they do. Some runners convince themselves that they are protecting their twin flame by staying away. They believe they are not ready or good enough, so they stay silent. But underneath, they long for reassurance, for a sign that they are still loved despite their flaws. They may not express it openly, but their heart aches in ways they don't fully understand. Number 3, they try to distract themselves, but it never works. It's common for twin flame runners to dive into distractions during no contact. They might bury themselves in work, pursue new hobbies, or even enter new relationships, hoping to numb the emotions they don't want to deal with. But no matter what they do, there is always something missing. They may appear happy on the surface, posting pictures, going out, and living their life as if nothing happened. But this is often a facade. Inside, they struggle with an emptiness that no external distraction can fill. They might have moments where they convince themselves they have moved on, only for a sudden memory, dream, or synchronicity to bring everything rushing back. Twin flames are energetically connected, and that bond cannot be severed by distance or silence. The runner feels this connection just as much as the chaser, even if they don't openly acknowledge it. They may try to suppress it, but the universe has a way of constantly reminding them. Number 4, they feel the pain of separation, even if they don't show it. Many chasers assume that the runner doesn't care because they seem distant, unbothered, or even happy. But the truth is that runners feel the pain of separation just as much. It just doesn't look the same from the outside. While chasers often express their emotions openly through tears, longing, and seeking answers, runners tend to suppress their feelings, burying them deep inside where no one can see. The runner may go about their daily life as if nothing has changed, but underneath, they experience an emptiness they don't fully understand. They might feel restless, as if something is missing, but they can't quite explain what it is. There may be moments of sudden sadness that seem to come out of nowhere. Some runners feel a heaviness in their chest, an ache that doesn't go away, no matter how much they try to distract themselves. Others struggle with a deep sense of loneliness, even when they are surrounded by family and friends. Because they have chosen to walk away, runners often try to convince themselves that it was the right decision. They tell themselves that distance is necessary, that they need space, or that the connection was too much to handle. But no matter how much they try to rationalize it, the pain lingers. They might wake up thinking about their twin flame, hear a song that reminds them of a shared moment, or see signs and synchronicities that bring the connection back into focus. Even in silence, they are constantly reminded of their twin flame. The energy of the connection follows them everywhere, whether they acknowledge it or not. They may try to suppress it, but they cannot erase it. This pain is often confusing for them because they don't always understand why they feel this way. Unlike the chaser, who actively seeks answers, the runner may not know how to process their emotions. Instead of confronting their pain, they distract themselves, hoping it will fade over time. But the twin flame bond doesn't work that way. It remains, no matter how much distance is placed between them. Their silence is not a sign that they have moved on. It is a sign that they are struggling in their own way. They may not show their pain outwardly, but they feel it deeply, just like the chaser. Number 5, they fear rejection if they come back. One of the biggest internal struggles a twin flame runner faces is the fear of coming back. Separation brings time for reflection, and as they think about the past, guilt and self-doubt creep in. They wonder if too much time has passed, if their twin flame has moved on, or if they will be rejected for the pain they caused. This fear keeps them stuck in a cycle of wanting to return, but being too afraid to take the first step. The runner often replays past interactions, analyzing their own behavior and regretting the way they left. They might remember moments where they pulled away, ignored messages, or acted like they didn't care, even though they did. Now, in hindsight, they fear those actions have permanently damaged the connection. They wonder if their twin flame still loves them, or if the door has closed for good. This fear of rejection keeps them trapped in indecision. They may pick up their phone, type out a message, and then delete it before hitting send. They may think about reaching out, but stop themselves at the last second, convincing themselves that it's better to stay silent than to risk being turned away. Even though their heart longs to reconnect, their mind creates endless reasons to stay hidden. Pride can also play a role in their hesitation. Some runners don't want to admit they were wrong or that they acted out of fear. They struggle with the idea of being vulnerable, of exposing their emotions after suppressing them for so long. Asking for forgiveness or admitting that they made a mistake is not easy for them. Deep down, many runners hope for a sign, a reassurance that they are still wanted, that their twin flame hasn't given up on them. But their own fears, insecurities, and past wounds keep them from taking action. They long for connection, but the fear of being met with silence or rejection holds them back. This internal battle can keep them stuck in separation longer than necessary, even when their soul is urging them to return. Number 6, they secretly hope for reunion, but don't know how to make it happen. Despite their fears, despite their avoidance, and despite their silence, most runners secretly dream of reunion. They may not say it out loud, but deep within, they wonder what it would be like to return, to heal, and to finally embrace the love they once ran from. They think about the what ifs, imagining different scenarios where things could work out. Even if they try to suppress these thoughts, they surface in unexpected moments. They might find themselves reminiscing about the good times, feeling nostalgic about the way their twin flame made them feel. They wonder if their twin flame still thinks about them, if the connection is still as strong as it once was. But while the desire for reunion is there, the path to it feels unclear. The runner often feels lost when it comes to making things right. They don't know how to bridge the gap that has formed between them and their twin flame. The weight of past mistakes, the fear of confrontation, and the uncertainty of how they will be received all create a sense of hesitation. Many runners hope that the universe will give them a sign or that fate will somehow bring them back together naturally. They may wait for the perfect moment, thinking that someday things will just fall into place. But deep inside, they struggle with doubt. What if that moment never comes? What if they are the ones who have to take the first step? This uncertainty often keeps them from making a move. They want to return, but they don't know how. They fear making things worse or reopening wounds that haven't fully healed. The thought of facing the intensity of the connection again can be overwhelming, especially if they have spent so much time trying to suppress it. However, no matter how much time passes, the desire for reunion does not fade. It stays with them, lingering in their thoughts and dreams. Even when they try to ignore it, their soul knows the truth. This connection is not meant to be forgotten. They may not always understand it, but deep inside, they know that reunion is something their heart longs for, even if they don't yet know how to make it happen. Number 7, the silence is their way of processing, not forgetting. Perhaps the most important thing to understand is that no contact is not about forgetting. It's about processing. When the runner pulls away, it is not because they have erased the connection from their mind. It is because they need space to make sense of everything they are feeling. The emotions that come with a twin flame connection are not easy to handle, especially for someone who is not used to deep vulnerability. The intensity can feel overwhelming, and rather than face it head on, the runner often chooses to step back. During this period of silence, the runner is not just sitting idly by, indifferent to the bond. Their mind is constantly working, even when they try to suppress their emotions. They might replay memories of their twin flame, thinking about the conversations, the moments of connection, and the times they felt safe yet exposed. They may analyze their own reactions, questioning why they felt the need to run. While they may not have the words to describe it, deep inside, they are going through an internal transformation that requires solitude. Many runners are unaware of how much healing they need until they are separated from their twin flame. They may have thought they were in control of their emotions before the meeting, but now they realize there are wounds they have not fully addressed. The separation forces them to confront things they have spent years avoiding: insecurities, fears of abandonment, or deeply rooted emotional patterns. This is why they need time alone. If they were to return prematurely, they would likely fall into the same cycles of fear and avoidance, leading to another painful separation. Pushing a runner to return before they are ready does not bring them closer. It often has the opposite effect. If they feel pressured, they might withdraw even further because they are not yet equipped to face the connection in a healthy way. They need time to reach their own understanding, to feel safe in their emotions, and to find their own inner strength. Healing cannot be rushed, and in the twin flame journey, this healing is necessary for a reunion to be stable and lasting. This journey is not just about love, it's about healing. Both twin flames must undergo their own process of self-discovery and transformation. The runner must learn to embrace their emotions rather than fear them, and the chaser must learn to surrender and trust rather than seek constant reassurance. Only when both have grown individually can they come together in a way that feels balanced and peaceful. The silence of a twin flame runner is never empty. It is filled with secret thoughts, hidden emotions, and an internal battle between fear and love. To the chaser, it may seem like the runner has moved on effortlessly, but beneath the surface, they are deeply affected. The connection does not disappear simply because there is distance. Even when they do not express it, they feel the pull, the longing, and the unresolved emotions just as much as their twin flame. The twin flame journey is not a race. It is a path of growth, patience, and trust. Each phase has a purpose, even the painful ones. The separation is not a punishment. It is an opportunity for both individuals to evolve into their highest selves. It teaches the runner to face their fears and the chaser to release control. It is a test of faith, resilience, and unconditional love. No matter how far the runner goes, the bond remains. This connection is not something that can be broken by silence or time. It exists beyond the physical realm, woven into the very fabric of their souls. When the time is right, when the runner has healed and is ready to embrace the love they once feared, they will return. Not because they were forced or chased, but because their soul will guide them back to where they truly belong.